I decided to challenge myself. Ordered this one vocal from Eli Blue. It turned out pretty good. His mixed vocal sounds like this.
Lost in your eyes, lost in your eyes, lost in your eyes, lost in your eyes. If I drown in the ocean.
Started like this. Let me just solo all of that stuff.
If I drown in the ocean and I take control, then I won't get so lost in your eyes, lost in your. I am lost inside your eyes. I am lost inside your eyes. I am lost inside.
Yeah, pretty fucking good idea. Not to brag, but like it is a pretty fucking good idea.
If I drown in the ocean and I take control, then I won't get so lost.
Yeah, that's so good, honestly. Like the hook is good. The dum da da 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 dum is also good. I think everything's cool, man. And the only thing I would change now is probably just like this one break, then the intro. We can switch things up. Also, what I did with Lost in Your Eyes, the first version, I had like a radio intro where I filtered stuff out. I will show you in a sec. So.
If I drown in the ocean and I take control, then I won't get so lost in your eyes. Yeah, if I drown in
So as you could hear, like I first filtered it out, and then I cut away the last bit. So it's like it builds tension, but I don't know how does it end. And then they immediately hooked, you know what I mean? So like this is the whole science behind it. You build tension, you take something away, and then I give them the whole thing. I give them the whole spectrum, the whole frequency spectrum of the bass line, of the hi-hats, because I filtered out the low end and the high end on the EQ. That's how you can imagine. Obviously, I boosted some of the low mids and the highs a little bit so it sounds more cohesive, because if you just put a fucking hard shelf on it, it just doesn't sound the way that you want it, and you can shape it the way you want it as well. So to your liking, right? Because yeah, you can boost some things, you can take away some things, so it's like even more different than just like. And I also applied bit crush, some fucking distortion, some other shit that you do in lo-fi music, so it sounds even more analog, as if it would go through a fucking cassette or something, you know what I mean? But you don't hear it immediately, but it adds up as a compound thing. And also some effects that you can't hear, like downlifters and stuff, and like short risers, but you can't necessarily hear them.
If I drown in the ocean and I take control, then I won't get so lost in your eyes. Yeah, if I drown in the ocean and I take.
And obviously the impact, like we have crashes that go directly into the drop, we have downlifters a little bit, stuff like that, and it's just like, that's how it explodes into this big drop. And obviously we got the bass line coming in, but that don't then clash with the crash and stuff. So that's the thing, like, let me just walk you through my vocal mixing project. I think that's pretty fucking interesting. So you can hear a lot of background noise right now, so that's not not the most ideal thing. However, you can just see like I've cut everything away so that we have not a lot of background noise right here, because if vocalists record stuff, that is not as clean. And we can also use AI to cut out the noise, and also just like noise plugins. Even like Fruity Limiter, the stock plugin itself, has built-in shit. So for example, the Fruity Limiter thing, if I open it up, can you see noise gate, so cancels out every single noise, but obviously compounds as well. If you have 500 backing tracks as we have right here, we need to come up with something else. So what I would recommend do is to process all these background vocals, double 1, double 2, double 3, double 4, harmony, high, and besides the lead vocal, I would process everything like to go through a sort of spectral denoiser. So I think that's built in, but you can also use trial versions of certain plugins. They cost a lot, but they're worth it, like RX9 Breath Control Connect, declick, declip, decrackle, De-ess, dehum, de-explosive, de-reverb, guitar denoise, de-monitor, mouth declick, spectral denoise, voice denoise. So, but there are also free versions on the internet even, so you could run them through a a free version of some vocal plugin. We could group them together, render them out without the effects, and then run them through. There are multiple websites out there that help you do that. And that's how I will do it as well. That's how I did it previously with even video editing, you know. So take a vocal writer, how I did it. So I can show you the vocal writers right here. We got a patcher open and we set the target, and then we go to the range minimum and we just listen to it, right? And we go through different sections of the song. We set the minimum, the max, and that's the first rough cut. So you take Edison, for instance, or you record your mixer channel, and then just look at the waveform. You look if it's stable or not. If it's stable enough for you to process it, it doesn't have to be completely flat. But if it's like flat enough for you to work with and it doesn't sound like completely fucking manipulated, yeah, then that's good. You know, job's done. Continue with compression, continue with EQ, continue with all that stuff. I can show you my mixer channel. I got like processing. So the first thing, I got the numbers even written down. So number 1 is just this vocal writer for volume. Then 2, complexity starts really. So we first got saturation. Is always the first thing almost that I do, because it adds harmonic information to that vocal. It makes it like really dense. Then like little altar boy, we got like these presets just in high octave, but very low in mix, so it adds like a high octave to that. Then we also got lower octave. It's self-explanatory if you know what pitch and format are. I already did that in a little party, that song. I don't know if you know that, but like that's the thing that I did. And also tried to match the EQ that my singer had on his vocal chain, because the singer most likely knows his voice the best, and I tried to imitate that as well. And because I bought the medium package, there was no mixing and mastering included, so I had to replicate sort of same style. I obviously used my own reverb, and I still have more control over the whole thing because I've got a dry signal that's being processed without reverb and delay. That's why I chose that package for me. But obviously, I don't know, like for some people they might prefer to have a dry and wet signal from the singer, but like I'm just like, I'm a music producer, I should have a clue about what I'm doing. So then I have the standard TDR Nova always loaded up and my basic rack, and I just adjust, like depending on where the S sounds are, I just adjust like the frequency from 5 to fucking 10k or something, and just adjust the threshold, because it's always, the volumes are always different, the volume input, and you just have to adjust these 2 settings. But I have presets loaded up. I'm not reinventing the wheel anywhere. Now then we got another patcher. We can adjust sort of like, we just got very, very simple broken down EQ, and it gives you also some keywords where like you have body, you have clarity 1, clarity 2, breath, and it's just sort of more visual, and it's just really good because most of the time you just see numbers and you can't do anything with it. So I just think it's another cool thing to have to dial your stuff in, and I think it's really good that they did by FL Studio themselves. Then we got OTT. I always put OTT in it. In some cases with some background vocals, I even went that far and to put like 40% mix on the OTT, because I wanted to really pick, like I wanted to really, because it just fit well, like it's just trial and error. And the multiband compressor, the basic one that I go to all the time is Bright preset, because it gives that shiny compressed feel that you hear a lot of in EDM, but you can dial it back how you want it to. And I just dial back the threshold on the high and mid band, and low band we don't need that often. But these 2 ones, you can also see it's like the gain here is set a little bit higher than right here, and you can see the master gain here as well. And the ratio as well is here a bit higher, so it's like, yeah, there's a lot more effect on the high band than it is on the mid and low band, but we sort of, it's like an EQ, but it's a dynamic EQ, you know what I mean? So it's like, that's sort of the cool thing about it. It's like this one, but just built in differently. You don't see the visual representation. You really have to listen to your ears and listen to. I think that's the beauty about this multiband compressor, because it just doesn't give you a clue about. It doesn't give you a visual. You can't get confused about the sound that's coming out. You just can't see. You just see knobs. Like how are you going to misinterpret the sound. Like with this thing right here, you could look at the waveform and get confused, but I think with these, you should keep these sort of plugins in, because you can't get confused about anything. But you need to trust your ears with it. So I think that's a perfect plugin. And then RC20, that's like the first creative step. So we got the whole processing done. And what I add is digital noise, like this bit crush, low end mix, and also on the high frequencies, because we also pitch the Formant. So I want to add them back in with like some bit crush to add these harmonies back in. Because if we Formant shift the vocal down, I did it like 144 cents. So not in this one, but on the lead vocal. We've pitched it down, as you can see right here, like 144 cents roughly. Yeah, as you can see. So we are losing high frequencies. It's natural, because it doesn't generate the high frequencies back again if you shift the whole frequency spectrum down, right? So yeah, where have we been left? That's it. Then we got another, it's actually a master limiter. It's actually a master limiter right here. And yeah, I just used the maximizer, right? And I just dialed it in the way I wanted to, just to get the last peaks really dialed in. I have sort of experience through mastering whole tracks with it. So I know I can use the visual representation to not go above it sounding abnormal. I just use it to really just flatten out like 0.5, maximum 1 dB, and that's it. It's the same with like mastering a track. That's the same purpose I use it for, and like the slow and fast setting is really easy because the plugin itself is really smart. And yeah, it's just, I think if you don't go too crazy on the limiter anyways, these settings are not as important. That's how I think. But you could obviously go crazy and turn it down, turn the threshold all the way down so it sounds really distorted, and then play around with this slow and this button right here, and then you could hear the effect. But if you have it so low in volume, it's like it doesn't really matter anyway. So maybe I sometimes do it, sometimes I don't. In this scenario, you don't really need it. It just acts like a limiter, really. Limiter is a limiter. It's nothing crazy. And then the last bit is just this thing right here. This is really important, the bus compression, because this gives it really like it made the vocal really pop. That's the vocal chain. I always use the same process pretty much. I only adjust the settings depending on the type of vocal and the EQ, and the limitings obviously depending on the volume, so on the dynamic of the song. And that's really it. I think that's the whole system behind it. It's like I created a good system for myself, and if you want to copy that, you're welcome to do that. I think creating a vocal that stands out and like is pleasant to listen to, it's nothing crazy. Like if you just know your process behind it, you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, then I think anybody could do it, right?